So hello everybody, welcome to this village pitch. I'll introduce the projects and the people behind them, and then we'll go one project at a time, introducing the project. Okay, and we can have a few minutes for a few questions. Okay, so we have Anthony Ryan from Purpose Flow. He's the main steward of the Regeneration project in Portugal. And he grew up in nature and acting as an entrepreneur and growing into social as well as greenpreneur. And he studied business management and is now focused on how we can regenerate the planet by regenerating the human. We also have Anita Hein from MDD community. She's an environmentalist, multidisciplinary researcher, and passionate regenerative community builder, and has been long inspired by GEN, the Global Eco-Village Network, and by the regenerative movements of the recent years. She's cultivating a deep sense of hope, love of nature, and belonging to land, and at the present, she transfers her energies into co-creating of a regenerative community project in Portugal. And today she will be speaking on behalf of a small core team about the recently initiated project, and will be sharing her insights on designing flourishing regenerative community projects. We also have Andre from the garden, and he's a journalist, and will be happy to speak about assessing properties and real estate in Portugal and funding a big land project alone, and how to run a vivacious volunteer program, which he has done in the garden. And which is an experimental playground and ecosystem for connection and creation with self and other in a private nature paradise. And we'll be sharing why this isn't an intentional community, or if you build it, they will come. And we also have Arthur Folkman from Silveira Tech Regeneration Village. He's the co-founder and head of community and partnerships of Silveira Tech Regeneration Village, which is a disruptive project in the countryside of Portugal that is creating an innovative hub to achieve technological potential as a catalyst of regenerative transformations. And he will share how they're revitalizing two ancient villages from the 13th century and more than 220 hectares of forests, with a goal to create a global community of social and technological innovators, scientists, students, artists, and seekers of change. So hello everyone again, welcome. And we will start by Anthony. So if you want to open your mic, and you can share screen if you want, presentation, and you will have 10 minutes and we can have few questions.
Okay, hi there guys. I have two screens right now, so this is why I'm looking a little bit to the side, so just so you're aware. First of all, thank you so much for your presence. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you to the Rebuild team. And thank you to all of you for that which you're creating and moving towards. I really appreciate being in your presence and having this opportunity to learn from and hopefully to inspire. For me, I have not been, in this game of working with regeneration for very long. I've just shifted the screen. I grew up in nature, okay? And now I'm looking to shift back into nature and see how we can inspire more people to work with it. So I believe the true value in this presentation lies within the inspiration that we can bring to the world. And from you, I hope to also be able to connect with you further and see where it flows. Okay, I'll jump into it. Tell me if you can then see my screen. Let's see which one. Can you see the screen now of the presentation? Cool. Okay. So within this, Purpose Flow is the project that was born. Within it, it aligns by giving people an opportunity to restore the nature within themselves by restoring the nature outside of them. And this project is, in its essence, supposed to inspire people that anyone can do it. Anyone can come through, whether from whatever background that you have to experience, and through having this vision, being able to implement it. And collectively, through communal elements, we can then grow and create a positive impact in the world. Okay. So I came to this when there was a turning point in my life. Essentially, I went through a breakup of a relationship of 5 years and then just needed to reconnect with nature. I'd previously been living in the city for about 2 years, studying business management at a university that I didn't really resonate with, but I saw the value in being present with, because they are the top business university in Portugal and in the world and things like that. So within this, they play a crucial role in where the energy of the world is moving. And I realized that I needed to be present there to understand their ways of thinking if I wish to be the change that I want to see in the world, so that I can communicate with them. And so I was taken to this land that held me for about 4 months alone, and it realigned me with what my purpose is, and that is in service of nature and service of life. And I've came to this one principle, that is, I want to live in harmony with life. And I believe that there's many other people that want to do this, but very few of us know how to do this. So this is a place where we can learn what that means, restoring a degraded land into one that is a thriving ecosystem that fosters the well-being of humans, animals, plants, flora, and fauna alike. And so within that, a seed was planted, and it opened as a space for more people to be able to come and practice this regardless of their background. And with that, to be able to then leave and go back into the world and shift other places. And so essentially healing our connection both with nature here and in the world. So of course, I don't need to vouch for the ecological imperative that we need to take to restore nature. You guys understand this, but some people are obviously still, we're all moving towards this. So we're within that, giving people practical insights on how we can work and benefit of our ecosystems, as well as by developing the spiritual connection that we have with nature. And from this, we go into understanding and really embracing the healing powers of nature's, both within that of the life that it holds, that it destroys, and from that it births, and how we can elevate ourselves with the planet to new levels of thriving synergy and symbiosis. So within this, we're a nature restoration project. However, we're only 6 hectares, small and big. It's huge and it's tiny, depending on the perspective, but it's more about creating also a global community. And so we do this on a practical level as well, the nature restoration, by restoring this landscape, by bringing a variety of mixed use forests, whether it's an agroforest where we can share the abundance, or having biodiverse forests where they are left untouched by mankind and giving natural wildlife habitats again to live within, or a forest where we bring in this connection together to honor this connection between human and nature, but to heal it. And so from that, we're a growing movement. We've welcomed about 230 volunteers from 65 different countries. In 26 months, when I first started, I could only host 1 person. Now we can host up to about 23 people. Well, that's the most I've done so far, and I'm willing to take on more with other people who hone on this responsibility, and collectively we co-create, co-facilitate, and coexist. And so yeah, we are looking always for volunteers or people that want to help us develop these volunteer movements. So I'm very excited for some of the presentations that are coming today. We also host events and workshops and gatherings, whether it's a retreat, an activity, or just something for the weekend, trying to educate, empower, and inspire people, working with various individuals from around to give more people an opportunity to connect with various regenerative elements, whether it's practical or people-based or planet-based. And from that, we're open to collaborations and seeing how we can develop this network, both within Portugal, but also around the world, and to explore further from that. So essentially, we are connecting people with, if you haven't realized, of course, yet, with nature as a part of themselves, by doing this, by developing their environmental awareness and connection, offering a variety of programs, activities, workshops, experiences, and obviously stewardship. This comes into working how we are responsible for our environment and integrating thus the value of nature in daily life. We have a hands in the earth and heads in the sky approach, visioning for the future while staying grounded in the present and seeing what we can do now to benefit this conscious form of living, and creating these habitats, habits, relationships, and mindsets that cultivate harmonious living. On whatever that level that means, it is something that we are continuously learning as a process. So through self-awareness practices, and thus fostering our personal and environmental stewardship. With this, we bring an aim and a focus on holistic well-being, meaning that through a diverse set of practices and systems, we foster the well-being of the collective. So humans, plants, the environment, and animals, and to seek to continue to develop this. And it changes as nature changes and we follow its cycles. As the community changes, we learn how we create new systems that can foster this holistic well-being. From this, Of course, it's a community way of living, so it always offers unique learning opportunities. There's always a need to embrace the differences and welcoming various individuals from all over the world. This is an opportunity for many people to be able to explore with new worlds and for us to develop the new world that we wish to move into. And we're open to everyone applying, but we also only work with a set amount of people at any one time, about 15 to 20. With this being said, to bring it close to a finish, I believe that the true value of this project lies within the ripple effect that we can create in people's hearts and minds, because the environment that we focus on is only 6 hectares, but we're looking to expand to the bioregion and work with reforesting the bioregion, as well as connecting with other communities and making political, social, and economic change, like through the implementation of a circular economy and more regenerative ways of thinking. So it is both present on this land as well as off this land. And so from this, it is through awareness and co-creation that we believe that we can bring more of this emphasis onto regeneration and offer practical support, but also take on practical support to develop more regenerative ways with honoring and working together with nature. And so within the region, we do lead by example. There's no one else within about 30 kilometers that I believe or that we're aware of that offers some open or community project that is looking to restore nature. And so we are pioneering, but we're also looking to work with others and practice that which we preach to create a healthier relationship. So in conclusion with this, it is something that we believe that the regeneration of nature and the human spirit go hand in hand. It is not separate. By reconnecting with nature, by reconnecting with ourselves and our purpose, we can truly share and live in a world that is abundantly worth living in, not only for ourselves as humans, but also for the rest of life. This is especially my inspiration from Africa, and this is something that I'm also trying to bring here. And so we look forward to being able to make this vision a reality with whomever we come across in a way that ultimately we can see works regeneratively or harmoniously. And so from that, if you wish to get in contact with me, these are some of the places you can find out more information about us or to connect and see what can essentially flow with purpose. All right, thank you for taking the time to hear me, to receive me, and I'm open to hearing and connecting.
Thank you very much, Anthony. It was a beautiful presentation. Now we can have a few minutes for 1 or 2 questions. So if you have any, you can write them on the chat and I will read them out loud. Anthony, you can reply them.
Yes, and also to respect the time and everyone else's time, you can just reach out to me personally, so we don't need to take too much time here. We are located about 140 kilometers to the right of Lisbon, 40 kilometers north of Évora. It's one of the driest regions in the whole of Europe. And we're trying to use this as an opportunity to showcase if we can do it in a what we might call crisis area, it can be done in a lot of other areas. So it is to work with this hardship and integrate that chaos or that toughness.
Great. Any other questions? If not, as Anthony said, okay, what kind of accommodation do you offer for volunteers?
So we have a variety. We've got in-house accommodation with shared dormitory rooms. We've got tents, we've got a caravan, we've got a minivan. So we can also cater for people coming in their own caravans, as well as we have a guest room. It's one of the ways we can finance the project. So having like sometimes guests come through, and this is also sometimes available to the volunteers if they need space. So to also work with people's need for space.
Right. What are the biggest challenges you're dealing with?
Humans. It's definitely the humans to any endeavor that I've ever faced. Because people are always changing. The systems that we implement are not always working depending on the humans. So it's about creating these effective systems that can work with all the humans that obviously then works in harmony with the environment. And this changes from season to season. So learning to be flexible with the systems that we implement and having a variety of systems for the different types of energies that are present. And obviously then the implementation there of the coherency.
Great. Well, thank you, Anthony. I think we can wrap up here. And as you said, you can reach him out if you have more questions. Now we're gonna go to Anita Haim, and you can present MDD community.
I'm trying to figure out how to
Super.
stop. Sorry.
At the top, you should have a red button that says stop sharing.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
You're
I guess
welcome.
now I can go to share.
Yes.
Yay. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Super. Okay. Thanks for coming for this village pitch. My name is Anita, and I'm representing a small core group for Regenerative Community Project. We call ourselves MDD. It's really related to the location. And maybe just to point out, some of our core members, Tanya and Simone, should be present and maybe waving at you. And also one person is sitting next to me. So for us, this moment is quite exciting one, because it's really the first time we open up our project to the world. And also our webpage is very freshly from the oven. So please feel free to give us any feedback to be better and growing together. So first of all, thank you for Rebuild for these opportunities for appear in the village pitch. And I would like first to start why I'm pitching our community project right now. So first of all, we are looking for individuals and organizations who would feel a calling towards our project and would like to collaborate with us to get our project really off the ground and to make the final purchase of the land that we are launching this project. And secondly, we are really looking for skilled friends of the project. So people with specific skills, which I will outline it later in another slide, who would want to support our project in exchange of monetary and even more preferred non-monetary ways, like participation on our events or accommodation and food and so on. And definitely for the long terms, we are really keen to partnering up with other projects, with other collaborators for our events, as well as for maybe future project proposal application and so on. And at last but not least, we are also open for a couple of core members to join our team for our residency. So this is our vision statement, a very simple one, and you can read more on our webpage that you can see on the end of the slide here. And this project was really born out of love of nature and humans, the value of freedom and beauty, the quest and desire for meaningful life and cooperation and regeneration. So how we would like to run this project or do this project, or what are the main things? We are really committed to use regenerative practices on the land itself where the community will take place, but we are also keen to host topic related workshops as well as reach out to the local and regional areas with this kind of practices and education. To make this possible, we would like to host and create transformative experiences and cater for all kinds of customers or diverse customers in this kind of topics like retreats, ecotourism, and team building events. And a couple of thoughts about the place. So Unfortunately, we cannot reveal it right now, exactly the location of the place, but it's definitely a land-based project. But as the promissory contract is not yet signed, it will be signed hopefully in a few months. The owners asked to not yet to reveal. But what I can say, it's beautiful natural wise. It is crossed by a river and it is embedded in native forest. The whole place lays on 5 hectares, from which 2 hectares are the infrastructures, the buildings, the garden, the greenhouse, the chickens, so on. It's totally off-grid, which is amazing. It runs by solar, hydro, and wood. Of course, the heating is with wood. And for potable water, there is a borehole. Which the thing that is really, really amazing on this place, that it has already a lot of infrastructure to run a business from day one, basically. It has houses, cabins. It was run as a campsite for a long time. And it has a long established tourism activities over 2 decades already. And therefore also large outdoor spaces. And there are around 8 to 9 housing units right now for hosting permanent community members. And another feature that is really amazing, that the owners have been engaged in regenerative activities for over a decade on the land, and that means also that the land has a really nice biodiversity established, but also around it with local and regional partners. So there is already this rich history that we also would like to partly continue and partly to put our own flavors into the soup. Who are we? These are our core team member group. There are 2-3 more pictures missing because there are 2 people in the joining process, as well as 1 baby still in the womb. And together we are actually having a diverse skills that will make this project run. But we are also looking for attracting some other skills into the team, which you can see in orange, is like especially in bookkeeping, marketing, fundraising era. We would love to have a bit more strength in our team. And then also a couple of people who would feel really aligned what we are doing, would need to go through a joining process to join our core team, which includes a compatibility questionnaire, co-working, co-living, and also monetary investments. About our governance, quickly, we are imagining and planning for sociocracy with nonviolent communication aspect, and the whole land and the business shall be imagined to have a co-ownership by a community organization. We are still working on which is the best to do in Portugal. And a quick timeline of our project. So it was born, the whole project, in July 2022. In October, we came to the first time together on the land with the potential core team members. Then we right away started working on our project design and also the alignments as a group. We have used dragon dreaming, which I'm totally inspired by, and it's such an amazing tool for project design. And this year we were engaging more into the regenerative business design process. We used the 4R business canvas model. In 2 weeks or 1.5 weeks, we are going to have some time on the land again as a core team. In July, we are planning to have the promissory contract signed October, hopefully the community organization established, and next April we would like to start already living and working on the land. So for the potential investors, why this project is really an amazing for investment. The natural beauty is stunning. The river is crossing the native forest is really beautiful. We have a totally off-grid infrastructure that can support the business and ecotourism right from the beginning. And our core team member is really down-to-earth people, very practical. So we are not a bunch of dreamers. We are quite doers, and it has been shown in the last couple of months how we proceeded. And finally, how you can connect with us. Here is our web page, our email address, and we have WhatsApp community info platform where you can also follow all news. And thank you so much.
Great, thank you, Anita, for presenting this wonderful project too. And maybe we can have one or two quick questions. If not, I guess also as Anthony, you can reach out to the project to know more. If you have any question, write it on the chat. And if not, where is it? She already said she cannot say where, but could you say the region more or less of the area?
So it's central Portugal. It's 1 hour 40 minutes from Porto Airport, and it's near to Viseu.
Near to Viseu. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Any other question? Okay, then we move on. And Andrea, you can present the garden. Sorry, do you want to collaborate with other communities?
Yes, definitely. That would be lovely. And of course, you know, I listen to you, Anthony, super inspiring project. So I would love to hear more and conversate more about it and learn from each other.
Great. Okay, thank you. Now, as I said, Andrea, you can present the garden. I guess you can already share. Oh, no, I made you co-host already. So you can share screen if you want. You have about 10 minutes.
Can everyone hear and see me? Can you hear me? Cool, great. And then, cool, so there's a couple different directions this can go, and I just want to kind of gauge where people's curiosities are. For context, the garden is a land-based project in the north of Portugal. Right now we have a core team of around, say, like 10 to 15 people, depending on the season. We're at the beginning of our second year, and this year we have probably 20 to 25 volunteers at a given time, another 20 to 30 residents, and then a bunch of artists coming in, making land-based art. We're organizing a couple festivals, the Burn, somewhere, the Portuguese Burn, and some smaller things. And I'm kind of curious just where people's curiosities are. A few ideas for this talk. So I'll just post in the chat and can talk about kind of the different directions based on that. We're in the north of Portugal, about 45 minutes from Porto, and 20 minutes from the ocean. So if you could just look at the chat, and if something's interesting to you, then I can start going in that direction. Okay, cool. You can go for it. Great. So this project's about 2 years old, and it's been a fun process. We're just starting to get to the point after 2 years where all the infrastructure's in a really good place. We're getting to the fun part. We're no longer doing renovations as much. We're now doing new builds of cabins and dorm, giant hot tub, giant sauna, giant like deck overlooking the forest, that kind of stuff. So it's quite fun to be getting into the really fun part. You know, still like, you know, the electrician and plumber comes once a week, but that's how it goes. And this is probably a culmination of maybe a 4-year project, which was two years of looking for a place all over the world, and not really thinking that it'd be possible to find something like this in Portugal, and then finding it. It's a 9-hectare estate that used to be a wedding venue that would host 2 weddings at the same time, and it's in the north, right between Viana do Castelo and Ponte Lima. So it's just lush all the time. We have probably, say, like 5 wells, 3 different springs, a spring-fed lake, 2 different swimming springs, a pool. There's maybe 30 to 40 liters of water flowing through the property at all times in the dry season, like in July, August, and then in the wet season, there's little rivers that form. So it feels quite lush and abundant. There's about 20 different species of mature fruit and nut trees. So we're probably one of the only projects that has like cut more trees than we've planted so far. Previously this was 15 farms, and the old owners consolidated around 50 years ago and basically planted this sort of botanical garden here along with food forests, and then it was abandoned for 10 or 12 years. And when it was abandoned, everything overgrew. A lot of the things they planted way too close together from a permaculture standpoint, and the trees are crowding each other out. And that's been a process of actually like thinning things to create more room, removing some invasive species, and then planting natives. So that's been very interesting, because all the people we've been working with on permaculture, it's a totally different approach than what they're used to in Portugal. But that's been a lot of fun. And then right now we're focused on, this is sort of our big deployment year where we're opening things up to the world. We just expanded our full-time team to around 10 people, and we're organizing somewhere on the land, which is a Portuguese burn. The first one was last year, and that was amazing. It was maybe 150 people, and this year will be 300. And I think there were people from maybe 25 or 30 countries who flew in for somewhere last year, which is just crazy for such a small event with so much art. And we just opened up a residency program, which I'm really excited about. So far, everyone's been either part of the core team or a volunteer coming in. Let's see. Yes. Okay, great question. Cool. And we just opened up a residency program. So yeah, so in terms of financing, right now I've been financing the project out of pocket for the first 2 years, and basically underwriting a nonprofit organization that we made about a year and a half ago. Things are run by a nonprofit association, and the goal for this year is for that to cover all running and operating costs. Let's see, what do we do with reproduce from the gardens and forests? Right now we've just been eating everything that's produced. We haven't even we eat it or we give it away. There's probably about 2,000 kilos of chestnuts that are produced, and there's 20 other species of hazelnuts. There's even some banana. There's peaches, plums, apples. There's all sorts of feijoas. So we eat most of it, avocados, and then probably chestnuts the most abundant. There's multiple chestnut orchards. Like our parking lot is a chestnut orchard. And we mostly just eat that or we give it away to our neighbors. And then any tips on legal entity? I guess it depends on what you want to do. A lot of thoughts on this. Portuguese bureaucracy is fun to navigate. No matter what you are doing, I would first try to understand what your goal is before creating legal entities, and understanding the considerations of both. A lot of people create, I'd say generally, like, I mean, the standard thing in Portugal is to create a business, a for-profit business, and then just make sure that that business never has any profit, and any money that comes in is gone by the end of the year. That's sort of the standard Portuguese practice of that. You know, in Portugal, a nonprofit really has to be a nonprofit. You have to justify everything, and it has to be consistent with the charters of the organization. So our charters are as basically a cultural and arts association. We kind of see the project as a Renaissance factory, and not an intentional community. We're like very clear on this, that this is a place people come and they can't live. You have to leave after a couple months, and we're trying to over time move our core team offsite, so that there's doesn't become a tension between people's need for like stability and peace and sovereignty in their home, and the ability for this place to hold a lot of people in a creative way. How are we doing on time?
Great. Maybe we can have 1 or 2 more minutes if there's one question. If not, we can go for Arthur on the last presentation.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, any other questions? Happy to answer.
I don't know. There was also a question from Arthur. I don't know if you responded. That was, what is the long vision for the project?
Long vision of the project. Great. I didn't see that. So I would start with, maybe we see this project as like an iterative growth process, and less of a we're trying to get to a specific goal, and more we're creating a foundation for taking big risks, doing big experiments, trying things out, and to have the stability to do that and fail gracefully and fail upward. And so far things have been going very well, but generally kind of seeing things from that perspective, and more of a orientation around north than a we have to get to this direction. I would say long term, we're quite inspired by Esalen from Big Sur in the 60s and 70s. So I'd say something like this generation's Esalen, which is a place that's bringing together like artists and thinkers and engineers and people like vagabonds and people of power all in the same place, and having sort of a multidisciplinary conversation there, and then that actually leading to deployable action in the world. Like we just opened a machine intelligence safety team, like a grant program for that. So we're like having AI researchers come here for free and study that alongside like artists and builders and volunteers and skilled artisans and like co-living residents. I think yes, Esalen. Yeah, Esalen was a place where in the 70s they would have like the top physicists and Alan Watts all there together, and then they would have like international leaders come and like do Tai Chi and meditation together to then try to solve like international conflicts.
Great, thank you, Andre, for the presentation and this inspiration. And now, Arthur, it'll be your time, and with this we will finish this little pitch. So
okay, thank you very much for this time and the opportunity to be here and listen to this inspiring project as well. My name is Arthur Folkman. I'm from São Paulo, Brazil, but I'm living over here in Portugal for 4 years. And today I'm going to talk you a little bit more about a disruptive project that we are doing over here in the central part of Portugal. So just let me share my screen. Okay. Everyone can see it well? Yeah. All right. So just to give a little bit of the pitch about the context that we are making. This is the first photo that humankind took from the moon and look at Earth. And what is really clear and that our planet has finite limits. But the way that society grows, we are based on a system that is based on infinite growth that doesn't concern about the abundance and prosperity itself. But of course, it led us to a really incredible development conditions about the way that we live life and education and health systems and all the kind of growth that society had. But what was the cost? So the price that we are living today is a challenge that is putting us all in risk. So in this way, we need to rethink about what is sustainability nowadays. So for us, sustainability is maintaining the status quo. It's being neutral about it. So companies who say they are trying to be sustainable, normally they are less green or do less harm, but that's not good enough for the context that we are living. So maintaining our wonderful status quo lead us to ecosystem collapse, the air pollution, species extinction, and acidification. So it's not only about concern about the carbon, but the whole system that is in collapse, about the way that we are living our lives. So Silveira Tech comes with a mission that we don't want to change the world, but we want to be brave enough to point a way about how humans can really reinterpret their mindset about living and also in the social, economical, ecological, and cultural aspects. So we are going to the way of the regeneration. Silveira Tech comes with a mission to create a new tech community, to raise innovative ideas, visionary sustainable projects, and also new traditions. So we have three main pillars in our project that they work in a systemic way. First of them, we're going to revitalize two ancient villages to foster innovation as a catalyst of regeneration transformations. Then we are in a deep concern and implementation of a long-term regenerative systems where we are thinking about how the future generations can use this land as an oasis about the climate change that is already happening. And then when we have the whole infrastructure to hold it, we are focused on making immersive transformation experiences to focus about the reconnections of humans with themselves, with community and nature, but always not only in the theory, but putting into practice, putting into projects in their own lives or collaborative ones with the community itself. So we have two different kind of villages. The top one is going to be our Regen Center. There's going to be like an active learning education. So people can learn permaculture, bioconstruction, agroforest, but implement it. And we don't like the term volunteers because we think it's an exchange program. So we are calling it the Brave Hearts program itself. And over there, people will be able to work with us, but in the future also have certificates for green skills and green jobs. So we can really spread regeneration across the land. And that will also be hosting academic researches and also workshops for local communities to learn about more the permaculture methodologies and also some kind of technology ways of providing it financially, like carbon credits, for example. The Dower village is going to be Silveira Tech. Over there is going to be like a long-term tourism, so people can stay for 3 weeks to 9 months. And everyone we're concerned about creating like this experience where they can change first from the inside. So creating and fostering new regen leaderships. In that way, we also are planning on having like a regen tourism. So people that come to us are already with the value of helping us in the ecological implementation. We are going to foster regen economy. So in an open innovation, calling up traditional corporates to incentivize acceleration programs. In that way, we can create new regenerative business models as also. The part of regen architecture is a really important thing for us because once we are in an ancient village, we are trying to create the most symbiotic way of the tradition, but also what is the needs for the future generations. So creating biomimetic and biophilia architecture as well. And of course, providing this regen ecosystem as a whole. So in the part of innovation, we are planning on having this kind of working in symbiosis with nature, where people will have this high-tech co-work, but it goes beyond it. So it has like a culture of innovation, where people from all over the world can help each other in their own projects, in their own startups, and we can have like challenge-driven technologies. So we are really concerned about not only the frontiers about our land, but what are the challenges of the whole bioregion in central Portugal? Like if I go to Figueira da Foz, that is close to the ocean, what is the challenge for the fishermen? And why can I do a acceleration program based on that challenges so we can create local impact in scale? This is a little tour about our village. So it begins over here with two main buildings, that is the event center and the co-work space. Our restaurants will be farm to table. We will also have like a forest school for the children on the village and also for the children from the local communities around. We will have different kind of quarters, so houses from T1, T2, and T3, because we want to attract families and also team buildings events. Going to the right, we will have this wellness center. There is more focus on the inner experiences itself. Going up, it's not on scale, but we have the Regen Center that will host the Brave Hearts. And yeah, this is the whole system that we are working on, making this community align with the whole implementation that we are doing. So we have a lot of environmental challenges over here. So this is a zero land, zero management land, and this 90, 80 years that has been abandoned. So we have a lot of invasive trees. We have like the hydrology degraded, the soil as well. So we created the master plan of it. So it's a implementation in 220 hectares that will take at least to 40 to 50 years. So we are really creating a big long-term work about helping first about the water systems and how can we create distributive measures ways, about the food resilience that we are having, the fire protector in all the land, using animals in a holistic way. So the whole systems integrating is a big book where people can take this and read it and know where we were heading and where we want to go. So it's a continuously growing design. And Silveira Tech, it's a project that is on scale. So like I said, it's not only about our village, but about how the community it will rise in innovative ideas. And if these innovative ideas work out, we can use like a startup mindset of scaling up in a global impact. So for that, we created a side project that is called Regeneration Valley, that we are building a network of public and private entities, such as tech companies as Google, Altice, but also universities such as Politécnico de Coimbra, Nova Institute. Rebuild is also a partner over here. So every partner is like a blank page where when we are aligning the purpose, we can start like thinking about strategies of co-creation. So the story behind the whole project. So it was a family group that has been living. They are from Lisbon, but they have been living here from 20 years. And they already revitalized one of the villages over here in Lausanne that is called Silveira, Home for Creativity. This has already been done. So over there, they try to connect nature with creativity and art. So you can go there making some ceramics or paintings or this kind of wooden activities. And then they look across the mountain and see Silveira. Silveira is 3 times bigger, and they try to connect with their background in Lisbon, where they have like a tech venture capital group that is called Lisipo Way. And they also have this podcast called Bit Talk, that is one of the biggest one about business over here in Portugal. So it's this kind of mix of a family group that is continuously growing. This is a long-term project, so we need more people, we need more ideas, and how can we all collaborate in one big mission of creating a regenerative future. So the roadmap itself, it began in 2017 when the idea itself came of buying the lands. So we spent all these years buying the lands, knowing who were the proprietors itself because it was abandoned. Then we got the government support, so we already aligned with the Ministry of Interior Cohesion. So we have this kind of network also with the public entities. We develop our partner networks. Last year, we made the Regenerative Master Plan, and right now we are making our first implementations, and will take until 2025 for the first phase of the village is done. So let's get to work. Thank you for everyone.
Great, thank you very much, Arthur. Also a great, inspiring project. So yeah, maybe we can have one or two quick questions, and then we'll close so you can join the next session, that is how to build our Regen Village, the game. We will explore the handbook that they made 1 year ago. So yeah, is there any question? Can you share more about your government funding, about the government funding you received?
We didn't receive it yet. So we had this venture capital group in Lisbon that they invest for 20 years, mainly in startups that is more risky, and in also traditional companies that has a more regular profit. So it's like a bootstrap investors that all their profits, they reinvest in stone. So first was Silveira. Silveira has already been done for everyone who also wants to meet someday. And then they are already been buying all the land by themselves. So we are planning now on going to European funds once we have the projects more defined and how are we going to implement it.
Great. Any other question? If not, I guess also you can reach out. I'm gonna share now the links to all the webpage of all the projects. So there you will find how to contact them. Remember, now we have the how to build a Regen Village, the game session, and you can also create a networking table if you want to continue discussing about village projects. Okay. Okay. Well, everybody, keep enjoying the program. Today is the last day, and see you in the next sessions.
Bye-bye. Thank you.